Meeting is being recorded.
Test. Not, it's not working. Test. Is that working?
Everything's on. Facing us or
My light on?
Your light's on. Yeah. Yeah.
It's not working.
Is yours worse, Scott? No. Hmm.
you have your cheat sheet thing there, make sure that. And the camera is flipping around, doesn't have anything to do with anything. Fabulous. Aren't there three things we're supposed to do here? This will be.
Yeah.
Try it now.
There you go.
But,
You fixed it.
but we're still not on the street.
Yeah.
We are waiting on one BZA member to arrive. They're on their way, so just bear with us here a minute.
Yeah. Well, it's not what it says, it says, well, yeah, all of these BMI. These are going, those are going, I don't care if they don't see it.
Yeah.
Who's one?
We don't need to here.
You said he was a couple minutes?
That's what he's.
He's coming in right now.
Perfect.
Right.
Ready to go, man?
I think so,
Okay.
everything. That's the 3/4.
We waited on you.
Appreciate that.
Good.
It's early.
All right. Appreciate everybody's patience there. We've got pretty full agenda with both boards here. So we are starting with the BZA meeting for April. So I will call the April meeting of the BZA to order. First item on the agenda is Pledge of Allegiance. If everybody would rise that can. Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We do have a quorum. All 5 members are present. First item on the agenda is the March 25 minutes for the BZA. Those were sent out in the packet and published. Any I guess edits, corrections, comments? If not, entertain a motion to approve those.
A motion to approve.
Been moved by Matt to approve, seconded by Dave. All those in favor of approving the March 25 BZA minutes signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, minutes are approved. Okay, for the BZA, we have 2 causes. It's the same applicant. I guess it's TAG or Tag Towers 2 LLC, Verizon Wireless, landowners D Family Farms Incorporated, Dave Duttlinger. It's a special exception and a variance for pertaining to a wireless facility. Who do we have representing the applicant? if you'd name and address for the record, please.
Brian Ramirez, 3620 Developer Road, Indianapolis.
Okay, you got 15 minutes. Go ahead.
We're looking to place a wireless telecommunication facility to fill in a gap in coverage southwest of Wheatfield. It is in an ag location. We need all setbacks. It is near County Road 400 East and State Route 10. We're proposing a 250-foot self-support tower, 4-foot lighting rod. Total height 254 foot. We have FAA approval. I provided that in my package. We are going to do the landscaping that's required around the facility to help screen the lower portion around the fenced-in compound. Verizon will be the first co-locator on the tower. It will be designed for multiple carriers to go onto the tower. Verizon will have outdoor equipment. There is no shelter there. It's cabinets they look like a refrigerator. We'll have a couple cabinets there. It will have power and fiber optics. There is no water or sewage needed. We will have a 30 kilowatt diesel generator as backup power. On the sides, we have primary power. This comes from the power company. We have battery backup, which lasts about 6 to 8 hours in the event of a power outage. And then the event, if it goes over 8 hours, a long-term power outage, it then kicks into a generator situation. The generator will only be able to turn on 15 minutes once a week to circulate the fluids. It is an unmanned facility. The field technician visits the site 2 or 3 times a year to check on things. It is monitored from a central office. So the lighting itself, it will have lighting required by the FAA. It will have it's a dual mode, white strobe during the day, and then a red beacon at night, medium intensity. It is designed for multiple co-locations, so AT&T, T-Mobile, anyone else that would want to use the tower would also be available for them. The site is to fill in a large gap. I provided coverage maps to the board. If you want to look at those, I'm not sure, but it is to fill in 4G and 5G coverage in the area. Most towers in rural areas will cover about a 3 mile radius. So 6 foot diameter, 6 foot, oh my God, 6 miles. Sorry, I just ran over. I have spoken to one gentleman to the south, neighbor who had called me and asked questions last week. I answered everything. I'm not sure if he's here or not, but he had asked about the setbacks to his property line. So we more than meet the height of the tower. I think a little bit over 100 foot, I believe, from the southern property line, which was his question. He has some other questions. I sent him some additional details. And this is a farm field. Property owners here if there's any questions. About all I have.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant at this time from the board here? One I have, what's the typical useful life of like this tower? How long would it be?
50 to 90 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the ones that are designed today, this is a designed non-reflective galvanized finish to avoid rusting and things like that. There will be no guy wires. So, there's still towers out there from the 1940s that are still out there. They weren't designed with the same criteria that we have today or the same standards. Most of those are guy wire towers. They used to be FM, AM, broadcast towers, larger towers than what we're doing, of course.
And just to make sure I understood, you said this is a new coverage. This is not replacing an existing tower in the area.
No, it
This
is.
is
They're-
covering a gap.
We are on the closest towers that are around in here.
So it will improve.
Yes, it
By-
fills a large gap of coverage.
Okay.
There's some outdoor coverage in the area currently, but indoor coverage for homes and businesses and, you know, cars going by and things like that. That's where we have problems.
Okay. Go ahead, Matt.
Not really a question, more of a comment. We live a couple of miles from there. And I would definitely agree, we have Verizon, and I definitely agree, we need more cell coverage there, so I'm in favor of it.
Any other questions, guys, for the applicant at this time? Okay, if you want to take a seat. This is for everybody in the audience, because of the crowd and the multiple items on the Plan Commission, and there's two items here. We have sign-in sheets there by Ms. Standish for each particular cause. Again, BZA and PC. Again, we are on the BZA at this point. So please come and sign your name. This is to make sure we can keep everything straight by cause. You can imagine the putting minutes together for a long and large meeting with multiple people speaking is extremely difficult. So we're trying to make that as easy as possible for the staff. So any questions, please ask. But so please sign. So we'll open public comment again for these two causes, BZA-5-26 and BZA-6-26. If you wish to speak, please sign the sheet and then you can come to the podium. But please state your name and address also for the audience. You want to put, yeah, pull that. There you go. There you go.
Michelle Hoffman, 14225 North 200 West, Wheatfield, Indiana. So I just have one quick question. During the nighttime, the dark hours, will there be security lights on this tower?
I'll stand up. There are motion lights, so if someone goes by or is in the area, the lights will turn on, but that's the only time.
And how many feet from the motion light will it detect motion?
Within the compound, so probably like 30 or 40 feet.
Okay. All right.
Thank you. Next. Anybody? Sir, do you wish to speak on this cause? Are you wishing to speak on this cause, sir? Yeah,
No, I just want to see if I got it right.
okay. Good. Anybody else wishing to speak on this particular cause, BZA causes, BZA 5-26 and 6-26? Ma'am, are you coming up for this cause? Okay, please, if you would. Put your name on the sheet, please. If anyone else in the audience is wishing to speak on this, we can keep things moving. Please sign ahead and you'll get your turn, I promise.
I have.
State your name and address for the audience, please.
Oh, yeah. Marianne Malin. I'm at 9246 Aspen Court up in DeMott. And my question is related to like how many, so if they're going to be 3-mile radius, how many more towers would be planned besides this one? Is this the first? Or I know you said they're older. You stated that there are older ones, but how many would there then be? Because I'm assuming that this is a 5G versus a 4G tower. And so would they have to be closer together? And so there would be many more of them than before, or is it 6G? I mean,
Do you want to go ahead and answer that, if you would?
You know, I really can't answer how many be in the future for carriers and all that. That's one of the reasons we are in rural areas, we go a little bit taller than we do in more urban areas, just so that we can get more coverage. In urban areas, we're only get about 1.5 to 2 miles. So that's why we're actually asking for a variance to go with 50-foot higher so that we can add the additional carriers and like E911 services and things like that. So we're trying to co-locate everybody on one tower.
Okay. And I also have another question related to like EMFs, the electromagnetic frequency. So is it higher for this one than normally would be for that than there are for other towers? I mean, is it like it's like I asked, so it's like 5G versus 4G and 3G and
Yeah, so 4G and 5G, really the difference, you still have them for the same frequencies that are licensed by the FCC. It's literally just changing out the equipment. The equipment that runs the site and the antennas on the tower. There's a 6G in motion right now too. There will be a 7G, there will be an 8G, just like your iPhone changes. Or what you know, these things change also. But their license frequency, there's only so much frequency in the world, there's only so much license frequency. Okay, so to kind of compare what the power that they run at, AM stations run about 10,000 times more power than we do. So an AM station will reach, 200 miles. So you can get Chicago stations down in Indianapolis, So FM stations run about 3,000 to 5,000 times the power of what we do. So to kind of think of it, they reach 35 to 50 miles. Okay, so we're reaching out about 3 miles. We run in the same type, there's certain frequencies we operate about 1% of what we're actually allowed to. Because we don't want to reach out 10, 15 miles because it brings in too much traffic. In today's world, we're very data driven. It's not the phone call or the texting that has any bandwidth. It's almost zero. That's why it's free. The data is what costs. So everybody, using video, audio, tablets, cell phones, Facebook, everything, streaming in your home. What 5G does is it actually provides a wireless internet into your home without bringing fiber or into your house, or you can get it wirelessly on power into your home, as opposed to paying $5,000 someone to run fiber up your driveway and then digging in your yard and into your house. So it's wirelessly. And it's the easiest way to explain it is if you have a router in your house with an antenna on it, that covers just your house. That's an outside router. It covers the entire area about 3 miles out.
okay. And you said so this is a variance for a higher tower. So is this a new tower that's going to be higher? Okay, all right, just thinking because you mentioned a variance for new equipment. I was wondering if it's just going to increase the height of a current tower.
That's correct. So that we can handle, so that we have less towers and we can have more carriers on that tower.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Anyone else on, again, BZA on these two causes? Okay, we will close public comment for these two and bring it back to the board here. Again, remind you guys, we have two causes here, a special exception and a variance. So we can further discuss, or if there is a motion, we'll need to do those one by one. And certainly any questions for the applicant, please ask.
Yes.
Been moved by Dave to approve the special exception. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Austin. Sir, if you would come up, do you have your findings of fact?
Oh, I don't think those out.
So if you would read the county statement and then also your response and give us a chance to vote on each one individually. So go ahead with number one on the special exception.
Okay, so you want me to read your comments?
Read
Your question?
yes, exactly, and then the response.
The number one is the proposed special exception is consistent with the purpose of the zoning district and the Jasper County Comprehensive Plan. My comment is wireless facilities are allowable in ag districts via special exception permit are consistent with the Jasper County Comprehensive Plan.
All those in favor of number one signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, on to number 2.
Number 2, the proposed special exception will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. My comment is the proposed wireless facility will not be injurious to the public health, safety, and morals of the general welfare of the community. The proposed wireless facility will provide additional wireless services such as cell service and wireless internet options to the area to include enhanced E911 services.
All those in favor of number 2 signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, number 3.
The proposed special exception is in harmony with all adjacent land uses. My comment, the proposed wireless facility is in harmony with all adjacent land uses. The property is surrounded by ag properties.
All those in favor of number 3 signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, number 4.
The proposed special exception will not alter the character of the district. My comment, the proposed wireless facility will not alter the character of the district because the surrounding area is ag and has numerous properties with solar farms, existing solar farms.
All those in favor of number 4 signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
The proposed
Okay, number 5.
The proposed special exception will not substantially impact property value in an adverse manner. The proposed wireless facility will not substantially impact the property value in an adverse manner. The proposed wireless facility will provide additional wireless services such as cell service and wireless internet options to the area to include enhanced E911 services.
All those in favor of number 5 signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And number 6.
No appreciable environmental harm will result from the use allowed by the special exception, or if any such harms could result, such resulting harms are eliminated or reasonably mitigated by best practice measures taken by the applicant or others in relation to the use of the special exception. My answer, the applicant must adhere to all local, state, and federal laws and guidelines. The FCC requires environmental studies to be completed prior to issuing permission to the carriers. The FCC studies completed include NEPA, tribal studies, migratory birds, fish and wildlife, historical, FAA, and et cetera. It's a very large package. It's like 200 pages. There are no appreciable environmental harm that will result from the use allowed by the special exception, or if such harms could result, such resulting harms are eliminated or reasonably mitigated by best practice measures taken by the applicant or others in relation to the use of the special exception.
All those in favor of number 6 signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All those in favor of adopting these findings as facts signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, the special exception is approved. So now this is to the board. We have the variance in front of us. Any discussion on the variance or questions and or motion?
I move to approve the variance.
It's been moved by Scott to approve the variance. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Austin. Okay, sir, if you would, you have the variance development standards in front of you?
I do.
Okay, if you would start with number 1, same process as the special exception.
The approval of the variance will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. The proposed wireless facility will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. The proposed wireless facility will provide additional wireless services such as cell service and wireless internet options to the area to include enhanced E911 services.
All those in favor of number 1 signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, number 2.
The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. The proposed wireless facility is in harmony with all adjacent land uses. The property is surrounded by ag properties and existing solar farms.
All those in favor of number 2 signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And number 3.
The strict application of the terms of the ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property. My answer, the strict application of the terms of the ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property because wireless coverage in the area would not meet the objectives of the proposed coverage. The tower is being designed to maximize coverage and usage of the structure and to allow for more co-location opportunities. Thus, less towers needed in the area.
All those in favor of number 3 signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All those in favor of adopting these findings as fact signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, the variance is approved as well. So that is the last causes for the night on the BZA. Next meeting would be May 18th. If we have an agenda, okay. Anybody have anything else? Otherwise, entertain a motion to adjourn.
I motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. We have a second. All those in favor of adjourning this meeting signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, meeting is adjourned. Thank you. Everyone in the audience, give us a minute here to get the plan commission seated and then we'll get started.
And we decided on the same color shirt tonight.
Yeah. We need I like a blue sky and we finally got a little sun today.
I know, right?
Actually spinning to it.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in one field that's really piled, so.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, right, yeah. Yeah. The rain holds off. So my. We need rain. We've actually caught up now. Oh, yeah, it's way up, at least down here. Yeah, we were actually behind. Yeah.
Oh, well,
They take that.
Take time. They run this.
Don't share. Go ahead. Pardon. Where?
Any work from Eric? That Eric? Oh, right there. I didn't see it. I saw Scott sit there.
What do you say?
You're better looking at him. Yeah. He's looking the other way. You know when you're ready.
Our videos.
Okay. I'll give you a minute.
Not bad. Thank you. What is another one? That's one.
Good.
For now.
Brian, are you good to help you have time and get that?
Yeah. Yeah, glad not. Yep, we're going 2 minutes. Yeah.
15. I'll try to do that too.
Yeah, just remind me. Okay.
Good.
For now.
Okay, we will call the April meeting of the Jasper County Plan Commission to order. we did the pledge there in the BZA, so we do have a quorum, all members present, all 9. First item on the agenda is the approval of the March 26 minutes. Those were sent out again in the packet or email. Any comments, questions, edits, anything like that, or a motion to approve those minutes? Been moved by Todd to approve, seconded by Ryan. All those in favor of approving the March Plan Commission meeting, the March 25 Plan Commission minutes signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, minutes are approved. Okay, so we have first cause is PC-7-26. It's Bailey Wiltfang, Garry and Jacqueline Wiltfang. It's a rezone A1 to A2 in Barkley Township. Who do we have wishing to speak for? Please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
Hi.
And, you got 15 minutes if you need
Okay.
it. So.
Hi, I'm Lily Barton, 801 East Leopold Street, Rensselaer, Indiana. I'm just here to change an A1 property to an A2. We just don't have enough road frontage and it's eventually a home building site. That's all I have.
Okay, just stay right there for a second. Any questions on any of the information was sent out? Anybody for the applicant while they're up here? Okay, you can have a seat. So before we open public comment, again, we have sheets there by Ms. Standish for every particular cause. So if you wish to speak on this particular cause, 7-26, please come and sign the paper, and then you can come to the podium. Anybody on this particular cause, 7-26? Okay, we will close public comment and bring it back to the Plan Commission here for further discussion, if any, and or motion.
Motion to approve.
It's been moved by Dave to approve. Do we have a second? Seconded by Vince. All those in favor of approving the rezone signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, so it rezone goes to the commissioners with a favorable recommendation. What's the commissioners meeting? May 4th. So, okay. All right. So our second cause of the evening is PC-13-26, Quentin Overbeck, Overbeck Farms LLC. It's a rezone A1 to A3, Carpenter Township, CAFO.
Evening, everybody.
If you would, name and address for the record and.
Quentin Overbeck, 14519 South, 680 West in Remington.
Okay, go ahead.
Where would you like?
Are they all different?
Yeah, they're all different.
Yeah, you can start there and we can pass them down.
Some of these you have smaller versions of in your, you should right there.
Yeah. Yep. You got 15 minutes if you need it.
You got it. So, like I said, I'm Quentin Overbeck. We have identified a need in our business to pursue pork production in the form of confined feeding operations. Our goal is to produce our own fertility needs as well as produce pork. We're requesting today to be rezoned from agriculture 1 to agriculture 3 to be in compliance with the 5,000 head space requirement within the zoning rules inside of Jasper County. We had originally requested 160 acres for the rezone. I checked with Mary and we are redacting that down to just 40 acres. We could go less, but I want to make sure that we have room to move this location of the buildings so that we can stay compliant with all setback rules that's set forth by Jasper County so far. If granted the rezone, we intend to pursue a 3 barn site and be compliant with all county setbacks and regulation. We intend to manage the pigs on our own and own the barns locally. And we are also partnering with Baylor Group out of Remington for the construction of these buildings, and their subsidiaries will be participating in this. As far as the site selection goes, that's where you see some of these things. I had considered 3 different sites for this location, trying to be most conscious of how a westerly wind will affect every residence. From this site, there is only 5 homes within a mile. So the other 2 sites considered were 6 and 7. This is not the most efficient site for my newer application, but in regard to trying to be as thoughtful to the neighbors in the community, we chose this site. So that's this example. Here's a site, and you can see something. This is a mile circle, and then 2 miles, 3 miles, 4 miles. Second consideration given was biosecurity. This shows the different locations of confined feeding operations already located in the area, most of which are over in Benton. We will be relatively close to a confined dairy operation. I believe 1.96 miles as we sit right now. One consideration there on the biosecurity side of there is a custom manure applicator over in that area that we are afraid might cause some problems, which is why another reason why we chose the site. Here is, and I think there was some confusion, the original site submitted was IDEM compliant, but not county compliant. IDEM's permitting is significantly more, allows you to be significantly closer than what Jasper County's permitting does. This shows 1,320 feet to the closest foundation, which I believe is the rule, but I also want to give us enough wiggle room that if we go start surveying, we can get within compliance. Also 300 setback from the road and 400 setback from any property line. You can see that here. Also, there's a requirement for vegetation, but it's not real clear as to where and how. But we do make provision for that. We intend to be compliant with all county regulations. This is a blueprint of what one barn should potentially look like. This is not the company that's building it, but it's the original designer and what the requirements are for who we're partnering with.
I think you said 1 mile to.
Yeah. So as I said, we're just looking to rezone the southwest 40 acres of the 160 acres we own on 1,800 and 980. So any questions?
Yeah, give us a second here looking at the maps. Mary, everything was you mentioned that not met all the setbacks and everything. Is that from what you
On the big drawing, that was
the reduction in acres?
correct.
Is there anything, I mean, that's,
Yeah.
there's nothing that has to happen, that would, I guess, to change those acres, to amend the application prior to this meeting, it's been done.
Yeah, because he advertised for the whole neighborhood, and he's now,
Because it's less.
right,
Okay.
because it's less. We're able to do that.
So if it was more, then that would be.
Yeah, that would be re-advertised.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
I missed that.
12,000, 4,000. 4,873.
Plan Commission have any questions for the applicant while he's in front of us here?
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead, Scott. Scott, you need to pull a microphone over or something.
So when it comes to manure handling, is it going to be a lagoon?
No, it will be all confined under the building.
So it's a deep,
Mhm.
okay, pit.
Yep.
Okay.
8 feet with 7 feet of headspace. I believe that is drawn, or 7 feet with a foot of headspace, 8 feet deep.
Be married. Wilson. Vince, did you have a question? No.
Yeah, just brainstorming back and forth, Brian there a little bit, some things.
Okay.
Here's more of the details, that's what I was. The actual specs.
Okay. Any other questions for the applicant at this time?
Double vision though. I don't want. 3D stuff.
Can always come back.
Quentin, you said that this would be the southwest quarter.
Southwest corner, 400 feet from the property line, 300 from the road as it's drawn. But again, we have enough wiggle room that with the 40 acres that if we need to go northeast some, we can certainly do it.
Did you have a question?
Yeah, I do. I guess just look, I pulled up an aerial map. This is a question from Mary probably. Sorry. So it looks like that parcel also has some wind turbines on it now.
Yes, correct.
So are there rules for how far a building would need to be constructed from those wind turbines?
That's a really good question.
Probably I couldn't find it in here.
I can look at your book
Yeah.
real quick.
Just about. Service.
Should be in the room. Not our property line, setback. Public road, on-site buildings. On-site buildings. 1.5 times the tip height.
You want to read that for?
Yeah, I can read that. So I'm in 20.30.170. Page 16. Setback from on-site buildings, a utility grade wind turbine system shall be required to be set back 1.5 times the tip height of the turbine from any on-site building.
Is there a way to?
1.5, you said.
Yeah, 1.5.
You familiar with?
When I
Aspen
spoke
here.
with the turbine company, they were like 1,800 feet in one contract, which is the contract that's in Benton County. I did let them know that I'm going to pursue this. They didn't seem to have any concern with that. But again, I think we're still well outside of that measurement.
600.
What's the tip height? I don't know.
570.
570 tip height.
You limited it to the 570, I think, prior to their, if I'm not mistaken.
50% of that's.
So
750 times 570.
Yeah, he said.
855.
I'm not sure.
that's gonna be fair.
That's it. Well, it's 2640 there.
Just have that new map up because I don't see any term. This one. You have a username? No, yet you need to get a username. Where you can log in with it.
It'd be close.
You can get layers. So.
Well,
It's in the minutes.
Yeah.
In fact,
Check back. It's an arrow. I see would be.
400 feet. We really don't. Okay, here we go. 741. Plus 4, so it'd be 1141 off the road.
I mean, it can be noted that that would have to be
Right.
checked out if we get to that point.
Yeah, okay,
Okay.
that's fine.
All the property.
Yeah, so there's some question just to make sure, it's hard for us to figure out exactly what that distance is. So, please take that note down. Should we, proceed. And Mary's, obviously we got it in the minutes and things.
All the property around there, Zone A1.
Yes, correct.
I believe so.
Any other questions for the applicant at this time? Ryan, you working on a question or?
No, just looking at the
Okay.
maps, looking at the map.
Okay. Everybody good with going on to public comment on this? Okay, if you take a seat.
Thanks for.
Okay, and again, as I mentioned, if anybody new has come in, we are to keep track of public comment. We have sheets over here, again, by cause. So if you are, we'll open public comment on this particular cause, PC-13-26. If you'd wish to speak on that, please make sure you have signed the sheet for that cause and step forward, name and address for the record, and then you have 5 minutes.
Good evening. Hi, my name is Larry Illingworth, ILLINGWRTH. My address is 2483 East, 1550 South in Goodland, Indiana. I'm here to comment on the proposed rezoning of the property adjacent to the Charlotte Cody Farm from A1 to A3. My wife is one of the 8 children that grew up on that farm that I just addressed. A.B. Cody bought that in 1929, or he started farming it in 1929 and operated until his death. And he created a generational legacy passage of that property to his eldest son, Charles, and then his younger son, Mike. Although the request for this board is a request for rezoning, the real issue comes down to the purpose for that request. And that is to create a confined animal feeding operation, or as you mentioned earlier, a CAFO, for pork production. I appreciate the position you guys are in. I've actually served on the Munster Town Council, the Planning Commission, and the BZA. And I know that your job is difficult because you have to decide the benefits to the public. So that's what I want to speak on tonight. I am a civil engineer. I was licensed. I have done design, construction management, and so forth. And I want to get to the real issue here. Now, we heard tonight that the request for rezoning is being redefined to the southwest corner of that particular property. Unfortunately, the paperwork that has been out to date was for the whole 160 acres. That rezoning for 160 acres would have required a posting for this meeting on County Road West 1800 South. Don't believe that posting was done. Now, I don't know exactly how significant that is to the board. I also don't know what adequate mitigation is for not posting it and having essentially a code violation before you even begin. We also heard tonight in this presentation, and by the way, all the documents that you're looking at tonight were not even available this morning. So I certainly haven't seen those documents. I did see a rudimentary diagram of 3 buildings located towards the southern part of this property. There is a claim that there was 5 homes within that zone. Well, I went to the IDEM well map and I identified homes, and I in fact identified 12 homes within a mile of the original proposed property. 2 of those were 1,000 feet away. Another one was 2,000 feet away. A third one was 3,000 feet away. A fourth one was 4,000 feet away. And there was one more that was just almost a mile. There also is one that is a mile and a trickle away. So that would have been the 13th one. There's also a maintenance complex less than 800 feet from the property line. If in fact they go to the southwest corner, it'll be farther, but it'll still be very close. I know your problem is, what are the benefits versus the cost? Quite honestly, right now, you have absolutely no idea what the benefits are. Or at least we didn't hear them tonight. They're not on record. So I don't know how you proceed tonight without that knowledge, but maybe you have a game plan for doing that. What I do know is that to compare against that.
You have 1 minute, sir.
All right. Well, if you'd like to limit the information I can get you, I want to talk about water reduction. Here's a map provided by IDEM. It shows that this property is essentially sitting in a place where it is the minimum amount of groundwater availability in the state. State average is a whole groundwater availability. This chart can be made available to everyone at the meeting. I also want to note that fly and insect increases are going to affect negativity. The code also says that mortalities can be buried on site. We don't know what kind of process they plan to use for that. Groundwater impacts. This particular project was just recently tiled. So we know that water exists on the surface and has trouble getting away.
Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to wrap up or your time is up.
Well, it's a shame that I can't provide you more information, but what I will tell you is that we're requesting that you reject this particular property from zoning from A1 to A3 based on water supply reduction, fly and insect increased population, odor and disease dispersion, groundwater contamination, and property value losses.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wish to speak on this particular cause? Again, please come forward and sign the sign-in sheet. If you haven't already.
I got your time, Ken.
Okay, good, thank you. Please state your name and address, sir, for the record.
Yeah, Charlie Cody is my name. And my address is 18684 South, 98 West Remington, and I'm like right across the road from this damn thing. And I always tell everybody, how much time do I have?
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Okay. I always tell everybody, I always have the best neighbors I could ever want. So there's Sileys, Clarks, Tylers, Mulders, Hathaways, Woods, and Cochrans. And to tell you, this person came over a year ago or so and needed farm drainage to the farm to the west. Well, me and Ron Hathaway, he needed an outlet. So we were nice enough to let him use our property, never charged him nothing, trying to be good neighbors, and then we get crapped on. How would you like to have a damn hog set up right next to your house, have to breathe that hog shit?
Hey, sir, please, no obscenities, please.
That's not Cindy.
That's
Matt
not
Painter uses
please.
it.
Please.
And anyway, flies. So, yeah. And I was going to say, I'm not a wealthy landowner and I don't have a lot of influence. So I hope I still have my own rights. And who's going to operate this operation? I mean, I've been in the like North Wind swine farm over there, and there's maggots and dead hogs laying around. This is a couple years ago, and then there's excessive rainfall where I live. There's a drainage. The water comes across. If there's more roofing and stuff, there's gonna be a lot more water damage to my crops and and the and then groundwater contamination, just like my brother-in-law says, called them dead hog being buried or whatever. And we got orchards and honeybees. We're on drift watch with the Indiana State chemist. I don't want damn flies and stuff coming over and eating my fruits off my trees that we worked so hard in the gardens and ruin the beehives, the honeybees. And then it's got water issues. It's going to lower the water table, affect my crop yields. I got livestock. And I'm going to put in hogs in north of the barn there. I need water for them. The Seven Hills is going to expand and take water away from me, plus water from that. Hell, I won't have any water. And then the lifestyle, how would you like to go out your house and live right next to a damn hog building and breathing hog crap and flies? How would you like that at your house? So we work, just like Larry said, our family worked there. I lived there my whole life. We worked hard to have a nice garden and orchard and try to enjoy it without having to go outside and smell hog crap and flies. So that's about all I got to say.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak on this particular cause? Please come forward. Like I said, make sure you sign the sign-in sheet there. If you haven't. Yep, name and address for the record, please.
Richard Sila, address 17757 South, 980 West Remington, Indiana. My particular farm is in right at a half-mile proximity of where this location is being chosen for the salt farm. Hogs, cattle, sheep, chickens have always been a part of farming. Yes, on smaller scales as we was younger, but also in confinements. I'm not against confinement buildings. I'm more concerned mainly on my place. My well is 35 feet. I have never ran out of water. My concern is mainly my water, contamination of that water through application of the manure. The second big thing I'm concerned about with is traffic. Right now, we're getting right at 6 loads of semi-traffic to Hank's Dairy Farm going down our road, which we understood when Hank's Dairy Farm was put in Benton County, 1080 was the designated road for him. Well, 980 is not 1080. We do have the stink wagon come down our road all the time. The milk truck very occasionally. But yes, we've had 5 loads going of sand, I'm assuming is what it is, to the dairy farm in the last 3 days. With the windmill tearing our road up to put the windmills in and cementing them and re-blacktopping them, I'm understood that now they will be classified when it gets all done as an A1 road. And if I understand this right, that is year-round use because of the solid base. Okay. So on that aspect, from what I've, contacted some people who I thought would have honest answers and what my questions were. Roughly, it'll take 5 months to feed a 40-pound pig to 280 pounds. The pigs coming in, the semi is a 2-layer semi, not a pot belly. So it said 1,200 baby pigs coming in on a whack. So over 7,800 pounds each time they come in. So going out, that's 280 pounds. That's 175 pigs going out in that 2-layer flat livestock trailer. Right now, if you do the figuring on them and the number of pigs that's proposed to this site, when I initially heard it, I thought it was 4,000. No, this site is scheduled for approximately 12,873 hogs. So if you look at that aspect, we're looking at 10.5 loads of baby pigs coming in a week. We are looking at 7 loads of baby fat hogs going out once they get to 5 months. And then I'm assuming, I don't know, that they're either going to ship weekly or monthly. So I'm assuming weekly. So that would be 7 semi-loads a week. We're also getting a 6 loads of feed, from what I understood, a week in there. And add that all up with the dairy semis going down there. That's right at 30 loads a week. It's going to be running up and down 980. I understand the point of being a solid road. I understand that. When I talked to some of the particulars on the feed, they wondered if they could take another route. Well, they're going to come out of Reynolds. They're going to hit 24. They're going to go straight over to 980 and go straight down 1.5 miles. They're not going to deviate from that. They're not going to go through Remington and turn on 1800 and then go back west and then turn on 980 and go south. I'm real concerned about the traffic. We do have some young kids out in the area. One of them has just gotten his permit. His sister just has her driver's license within the past year. Our corner going south is a stop sign. 1800.
Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to wrap up. Your time is up.
1800 was repaved a few years ago. They do not slow down on 1800. What I'm concerned about is a big accident at 980 and 1800. Thank you, sir, for your time.
Next, who's wishing to speak next? Did you sign the sheet, ma'am? Okay. Name and address for the record.
Karen Danaher, 18221 South, 1080 West, Goodland, Indiana.
Go ahead.
I had been at this property since 1985, and we had a blacktop road on 1080, and the dairy farm was in Benton County, never got notified. Now we have a gravel road. We have gravel dust all the time. Our allergies is higher now, so we have more medical expenses because of the gravel road. We too have a 35-foot well, so we have a very shallow well. So with this hog farm, I'm very concerned of our water. Last summer, it was hot and dry, so we had to conserve our water. So with this hog operation, along with the dairy farm, and as stated previously, the water table is very low. With the lack of rains that we've been having, it's going to create more problem. And if they do decide to use 1080, we already have milk trucks and trucks to haul manure. So is that going to increase our road traffic on our road as well? So I'm just really concerned, and we do have east winds, so I'm less than 1 mile away. So we will not only have cow smell, we'll also have hog smell. And with the increased flies and possible contamination of our soil, we do have a garden, so I would appreciate to have our garden, okay? That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. Next. Again, name and address for the record. You have 5 minutes.
My name is Dottie Warwick. I live at 322 South Sunset Drive, Rensselaer, Indiana. And I have detailed maps of Newton and Jasper County aquifers, how they're stacked, the depth, the width, and how they recover. So and this came from Bree Stick, the director, Newton County Soil and Water. So I'd like to present this to you. But I want to ask you, would you guys want to live by a hog farm?
Set it down. Thank you. Do you have anything else to say? Okay. Okay, thank you. Anyone else wish to speak on this particular cause? Again, 13-26. Name and address, ma'am.
Carly Schroeder, 12303 North, 400 East, Wheatfield. I just had a quick question for the gentleman that proposed. You said that there was a radius that you had checked, and that was pretty much what you would consider to be the impact zone for the smell, correct?
Wait, he'll have a chance to rebut. You can go ahead and ask the question, but he'll have a chance to rebut to all the questions.
Sure. So you had mentioned a certain radius that houses were in. I might have misheard it. There was people talking in the back, but you had acknowledged a certain radius. Obviously that radius is being impacted by a large operation. Have you considered any sort of compensation for the fact that you're going to be lowering property value significantly? That was it.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak on this particular cause? Yep, please come forward. Sign the sheet.
Richard Clark, 8855 West, 1800 South. I basically am just catty cornered across the section from where this is proposed. Obviously, there's a lot more questions than there is answers. It's too bad we couldn't have met as a community and resolve some of these issues before we have to stand up here and start asking questions. I have a question though for the board. If you approve an A3 for 40 acres, correct me if I'm wrong, that would give the applicant the right, without having to come back, to expand that operation at any time up to that 40 acres. He could add more buildings without having to have any more rezoning.
No.
So why are we going to 40 feet? Why don't we see where the plat is and reduce the A3 rezoning for 5 acres, 10 acres, whatever that area actually is? I understand Quentin's point. He wants to have the rights to move it if he needs to. But long term, I'm not sure I'm satisfied, and I don't think the board should be satisfied that you're doing 40 acres. Is there a reason it has to be that? Is there a way that we could reduce it once he determines where that's going to be?
We can't speak for the applicant or what their intentions.
You can speak for your board.
We can't speak for the applicant or their intentions. It's like I said.
So if you do it 40, it'll never be reduced any more than just 40 acres.
The application is the application.
To reduce it, it could be.
You can't ask for it to be reduced.
I mean, we could make that request to him. I mean, we can,
I just don't want to see that 5 years down the road, there's not more expansion with having to ask for some rezoning and stuff. Correct?
It's already built on now.
Are you concerned about him expanding the instead of
three
three
barns is fine.
instead of three farm,
Three
buildings,
years from now,
five buildings?
that could be 6 more barns. There's enough room to do that.
He'd have to come back to the plan commission or to the planning department to get a building permit.
But he wouldn't have to get rezoned.
He wouldn't have.
You would have to get rezoned.
Okay.
You may need special
Okay.
exception.
So there's a bit, well, I'd sure like to have some clarification on that before long then. Another thing is we've all argued over how many people's affected. I can count 8, you can count maybe more than that. The fact of the matter is there's a minimum of 7 homes and probably up to 12 wells that are going to be affected. I can tell you personally, our well has ran dry twice. We've re-drilled 5 wells just a mile from here and have not hit water.
we run out of water every summer. Without any question. If the water table drops anymore, we're done. So water is a big concern for me. Contamination as well as just the supply of water. I know 2 other neighbors who've expressed the same feeling to me. Yeah, I mean, water is obviously going to be our greatest concern. Now let's go back to the roads. Is 980 West by the windmill agreement going to be a year-round road? When I was up here with the windmill things, I heard 980 West was going to be paved all the way to the Benton Jasper County line. Yesterday, I visited with the project manager. Goes, that's news to me. Anybody got that in there?
I would approach the highway department, I guess.
They went down a half mile farther south than what they drove right by their signs that say no road construction. So, but who's going to be responsible for paving that road? They're not willingly going to do that. I can guarantee you that.
You don't have to tell me.
Yeah. So if it doesn't get paid, if the windmill does not take care of it, Quentin's certainly not going to be happy with it. Us neighbors aren't going to be happy with it. Who flips the bill for that? Is that the county's responsibility? See, we got a lot more questions than we do answers. So I guess in finality here, I'm just saying, let's slow down here a little bit. Let's get some of these questions answered. And let's come back here and get it right. So that we know where everybody in the community stands. We know where this water issue is. We know what the road issues are. Let's don't leave ourselves guessing. Let's find out. Time's up.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yep. Next person, please.
Hello, my name's Catherine Vanderwall. I live in Lafayette currently, but my mother, Bernice Gilbert, lives about a half mile from the proposed location on the Benton Jasper County line. So she's actually in Benton County. But my husband and I are working on moving up to that location. That location has been in my family for 4 generations. Well, we would be the 4th generation. So my great-grandparents, my grandparents, my parents, and then soon to be my husband and I was the plan. We've already met with an architect, spent thousands of dollars on drafting out a home to build on this site that had been in our family for a long time. So we had just got the drawings at the end of March, and we're working with the builder, working with other people in consultation with building a new home on this property. When this all came to a halt, when we just found out about it last Tuesday. So we've had less than a week to process this information because luckily our neighbors told us about this proposal. Just many concerns. We've talked about the family residences. I understand there's more than 5 in the area. There's several of us in the area that would be impacted. We are right in the middle between the dairy operation and this new proposal. So we would be in direct line of both. So that's a concern for us. Concern with odor from both facilities coming at our property. And we're not as close as other people to this new property, but we're still only about a half mile away. Also, increased traffic flow was our concern too. The water usage is a big concern. Having 2 large animal facilities less than 2 miles from each other is a significant concern for us. And we were planning to put hundreds of thousands of dollars into a new home on this site that had been in our family for many years. And I'm not sure I want to invest in that, not knowing what this could cause. So we're kind of on a hold with this, and just like everybody else has expressed the concerns, those are our concerns too. The wind towers have been discussed too. There's wind towers on the property. That was a concern of mine too. I'm not sure what the regulations are there, but having those large wind towers next to those large buildings with animals was a concern for me too. But mostly the family residences around the area and the water. That's my main concern. And unfortunately, our plans that we have been planning for a couple of years, and we're about to move forward with formalizing everything, are now on hold. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak on this cause? Please come forward, sign the sheet.
I'm John Woods. I live 9953 West, 1800 South. My concern is the water. I got a shallow well. We run out of water once in a while. And with livestock, I don't want to run out of water. I'm not opposed to increasing agriculture in the community, but just for the water supply that we have. Thank you.
Thank you. Next. You've already spoken, ma'am. Yep, come on forward. Do you sign the sheet? Okay, go ahead. Yeah, name and address, please.
Yeah, my name is Ed Baylor, and my family owns FBI buildings in Baylor Group in Remington. And we've worked with the Hagemans and the Overbecks for over 50 years, creating economic opportunities in the county and our surrounding counties. And this project is a project that does that as well for our over 200 employees based out of Remington. So I'm in favor of the project because of the opportunities it creates for our people.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak on this cause? Going once, twice. Okay, we will close public comment on this cause. If the applicant would come back forward to the mic. You do your best to address or just essentially a rebuttal as you wish for 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate everybody's concern on this matter. We are trying to be as uninvasive as possible. I think I provided you all with well data. We recently drilled a test well, actually Friday, to make sure that there was water there. So that was even a project worth pursuing, because you obviously can't build a building without water. At 116 feet, we hit 60 gallons a minute with no sulfur smell. I have a permit for that well. I've come up here and gotten it from the health department. I just need to submit findings from that withdrawal. But that is in your packet. If it's not, I can hand it out. I think I sent it up to you earlier. It was the well information. If you don't have it, I have it here. Obviously we don't want to impact anybody's wells negatively. I appreciate Rick's concern about the road usage. He is right. There are 2 homes on that road that would be impacted. We are happy to work with the county for a road use agreement. It is my understanding from the partners we've aligned with here that it should be more like 375 truckloads of feed a year. So I would equate that to equivalent to a 250,000 bushel grain facility in and out. So we are well under the 100,000 gallon state required disclosure for withdrawal. As far as it comes from water, we actually require a 25 gallon a minute pump. So it's not nearly the usage that the dairy is using around the corner at 200 gallons a minute. So like I said, we're trying to be compliant with all county regulations. We have submitted our IDEM permit. The IDEM will not allow us to do anything that should be concerning to anyone's wells around it. That's their main reason for their governing. So I would like to think that IDEM will require anything above and beyond what the county would require. There are some additional setbacks from the county, and we tend to be compliant with all of those. Should we be granted our A3 zoning? So, thank you.
Any questions for the applicant while he's up here?
I do.
Yeah, go ahead, Lana.
Can you
Pull your mic down. Yeah, there you go.
The concern that a couple of people brought up was the disposal of a deceased animal. What is that procedure?
We are using a rendering service. You can see on your map, there's a location where the rendering on the building map or the site map, it's located on there. It has to be away from the well. You can, I believe it's 100 feet from the well also. So it's accounted for in the rendering service.
Just so everybody could hear. So you have a separate building service that
It's an area where the animals will be picked up.
they get picked up. If
Yep.
they-
Yep.
So they're taken away off of the property,
Yes.
disposed of, because that was a concern that we kept hearing. So I
Yep.
wanted to make sure that was something.
Burying animals is not permitted.
Okay, just wanted to make that clarification because that was a concern that people were bringing up was
Yep.
that you were just going to bury them in the backyard. So, and then what's the other? I had. Which, as far as insects and flies, I don't know if that's something that you're able to control in any,
I'm not sure it's regulated under IDEMS.
just out of curiosity. I mean, I've seen animal farms everywhere and I've never known of a way to control insects. So I was just curious if there was something, since that was a concern people are bringing up as well. So IDEM doesn't have any regulations regarding that.
Said it's 100 feet away. I can't read.
Oh, and then so currently, like what was mentioned, the revisions for the 40 acres, 3 buildings. The concern that's been brought up too was, are you going to turn around in 2 years and expand? And if you're planning to, grow by leaps and bounds to where you have 10 buildings that you want to right away.
I can't speak to the future, but I know that we will have to come before this board for a special exemption with the BZA anytime we would like to expand. So.
Okay, that was all I had.
You good, Lana?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Yep. Anyone else on the board have or on the plan commission have any comments or questions or anything for the applicant?
I've got a.
Go ahead, Ryan.
So you talked about your rendering service. I don't see it on this map. Could you point it out for me? Where?
On the big one, the green one, it's a little green spot.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay. Perfect. Okay.
Where's that at? Where's that at?
The little.
It's a green.
spot.
Here's
Here's the.
Oh, right there. Okay.
All right. Gotcha.
No, mortality pickup. Got it. Okay. We've heard many concerns tonight. One issue we've heard about flies. I'm assuming that the feed will be treated with a fly mitigator.
Yes, that's accurate. And the pits can be treated as well for the insects.
Okay. I think that's the only 2 questions I really had.
And like I said, we intend to have a vegetative barrier as required by the county. However, that's defined when we get to that point.
I have a question around your manure management. I mean, I guess walk me through that plan.
So my number one goal was efficiency in manure management. That's why we had chose the east side to get started with our drawings. We chose to go to the west side, which is less efficient, but we hope to drag line all the manure on land that we own. We have more than enough land to cover the 708 acres, I believe, are required for this size of operation. And that will be a part of our IDEM permitting process as well.
So it will all be drag line, won't be any trucks.
I can't tell you that there will never be trucks, but I can tell you my intent is to drag line and be as efficient as possible with it.
Okay. And so will you be applying the same acres every year?
No.
Okay.
No, we'll be compliant with IDEM and we have enough contiguous acres to make this work.
Okay. So Jake opened up another door for me to ask questions. So you talk about drag line and you're only going to have kind of a restriction to that property there within your 4 corners. What are you going to do when roads become in the way? Are you going to suggest putting culverts underneath the roads? Are you going to invest or have whomever your manure applicator is invest in an archway system?
I'm happy to be compliant with whatever the county highway department would choose. If we can't use a culvert that's already existing, I certainly won't ask for the destruction of the road for that purpose. But archways if that's what we want to do, that's what you guys would
There's a couple
like.
manure handlers on this side of or on the north side of the county that have applicated those, and it does eliminate cutting the road open.
Yep, I've seen that on the south
Yeah.
side as well.
Any other questions or comments at this time? So this, I'm just, again, for the plan commission's, re-education, my re-education, probably more than anything, public. So what, this is a step, Todd, Mary, what other governing bodies within the county would this go through besides the commissioner?
Drainage board.
Drainage board? Anything else in the county? IDEM approval from the state.
Correct.
Okay. Do you know of any other that you're having to apply for? I'm just asking.
Jasper County is slightly different than Benton County. I'm getting to be a little more familiar with Benton County, but I certainly know that we've got to go before the BZA. That's the next step. Happy to appease any drainage board requirements that there are. And we are, I would hope by the end of the week, have our IDEM permit submitted for this site. Any comments on that? You good?
I don't know.
Okay, all right.
Question.
Yeah, go ahead. Todd, go ahead.
One more thought. It was brought up a couple different times. I know you dropped from 160 to 40. Would you consider a smaller rezoning site?
I would certainly would. The only reason I haven't is because I didn't think that we could take the time for a survey and parceling off. I actually have an address for where this building would be located, so I've got it close. But if you would find that I need to move it 25 or 30 feet, I guess that's the only reason being.
Gotcha.
If you can draw on that map and tell me how much smaller I need to be, but I just don't want to get myself in a bind. So I really, this is the fastest to the end goal that I could find.
Do you have something, Dave?
Yeah, just a question about, you said IDEM checks to secure, make sure about water safety. So you don't drink that, because that's the concern that I would have. The people concerned about odor, flies, I'm sorry, you live in the country, that's where ag projects have to be. The cattle are raised there, the hogs, the chickens and whatever. I have the same problem. I live in the country. I live next to things that I don't like, but I chose to live in the country. If you don't want those things, live in the city. There's problems there too. But the water, I would be concerned with.
There is setback distances to wells. I don't know what those are. I believe they're 100 feet for application. I know that there's a 30 or 35 foot setback from an open ditch, not necessarily a county roadside ditch, but an open ditch. There's also setback from air wells or open inlets inside the field. All those things we tend to be compliant with our manure management plan.
Anything else from the plan commission here? While the applicant's in front here. Is everybody thinking?
I've been working around livestock for a long time. It's no secret. I work for Belsters in Demont. Been working for them for 20 years, and Quentin's not confined or feeding for Belster. I can say that out loud. Actually, one of our competitors. One thing I can say is we have a growing population in an ag county. We've got a growing population in the state and in the nation. And one thing we're short on is protein. And one thing you can provide is protein to the people this way. It's also a large consumer of grain, corn being one specific, as we are seeing an outlet for corn production diminishing and needing to go somewhere with it. Knowing that this grain is going to be utilized, probably a lot of it from Jasper County, I don't know, but it'll give grain operators an opportunity to go market their product and have an outlet for it and have a return effect. You've got a growing input cost on fertilizer. These are all things that are kind of hurting our local ag economy. And to have an outlet for manure to lay down for fertilizer is a key factor and key component to this. Location's important. I understand it's out there in Carpenter Township. I've looked at the site, took a little drive out there. I like the fact that he's willing to explore a road use agreement with the county. I think that's admirable. I would be strongly in favor of this project.
I'd like to say, I live a mile from Hidden View Dairy, and I live a mile from one of Belcher's farms. I'm right in the middle of Hidden View, and I'm right in the middle between Hidden View and one of Belcher's farms. And we don't even know they're there. We've had no water problems. I know I live in a different part of the county, but we've had no water shortages. I have another dairy 5 miles to the east. Yeah, they apply manure once a winter. I benefit from the dairy, so I'm not gonna lie about that. But we have a very good relationship. All those guys want to see everybody do well, in my opinion, and they look out for each other. And I have no problem with this type of project. That's what we do in Jasper County. We raise animals, raise corn.
Anyone else? Comments?
Yeah, I'd just like to say, I agree with those two gentlemen. This is an agricultural county. We have to support our businesses that do that. I think this project does that. Does meet the codes. And I will say, that as far as setbacks and things, I do have concern with the wind tower setback. And what I would make sure that meets that, but we're not asking for variances. Quentin's done a lot of homework here to get it in the to meet in the code. So I think it's a good project.
I always I guess, go back to the basic definition of agriculture, which is not only the raising of crops, it's also the raising of livestock by definition. And these guys have all mentioned, we're in agriculture county. The area, I think this fits that area. There's certainly, a lot of pluses to where that is compared to other areas. So I don't have any issue with this particular project. Anyone?
Someone brought up the posting. Are we in compliance
We have
with posting?
Hosting?
I posted on 980. I don't know if I was supposed to post on both roads, but I was given one sign.
I saw it.
Okay. It's as close to the address as I could.
Right.
Anyone else? Like I said, entertain a motion as well.
980 would be closer.
Further questions, comments? Vince, you got anything? Been quiet.
So Ed, if we make a
I
motion.
agree with you guys. I mean, we're the leading ag community in the state of Indiana. For a long time now. I think that's a staple of Jasper County. And I agree with what you guys are saying. That's why I didn't have anything to add to it. It's what we serve. It's what we do.
So if we pass a motion to approve it and it doesn't meet all the setbacks, then what happens at that point?
He's saying if we would have a motion, second, and approval, it goes to the commissioners.
Right.
And then what about the setback question on the windmills? I think that's what he's.
If it doesn't meet that, what happens?
If it doesn't comply with that, then when he comes for a special exception, he would either need to request a variance on that, or it just would not be able to go there.
So this would still go through BZA?
Yes, it would. It's a level 3 confined feeding operation.
Good, Jake?
Yep.
I mean, you could also make the motion subject to finding out if it applies.
Sure.
With that setback.
With that, I'll make a motion that we approve the rezone, subject to meeting the wind turbine setback for on-site buildings.
Support.
Been moved by Jake, seconded by Ryan. All those in favor of approving the rezone signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, so rezone goes to the commissioners May 4th with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, you did.
Okay. Reset here. Okay, our final cause of the evening is PC 14-26. It's NIPSCO Generation LLC, a rezone A1 to I2 and CO in Kankakee Township, proposed combined cycle gas turbine electric generation. State your name and address for the record. You have 15 minutes.
I'm Donald Shellman. I'm attorney here in Rensselaer, Indiana. And I'm representing NIPSCO Generation LLC. They're both the owner and the applicant in this matter. Property that we're talking about is located in Section 16, Township 22 North, Range 5 West. It's all in Kankakee Township. As was stated, there's two requests before the board today. Just a little history. Previously, there was a property that's located adjacent to this property that is the subject matter of today's hearing. And it was already rezoned to I2. I have, I think all of you have a map. In order to look at it, I've sort of drawn a map here so everybody can see what we're talking about here. What was previously rezoned is this area right here. It's already been rezoned to I2 for the construction of the generation station. What I've outlined here in green is what I'm going to talk about first. And what I've outlined in red is what I'm going to talk about second, which is the conservation area, just so everyone's got an idea of where we are and what we're asking to be done. As I stated, this is a generation plant. The layout after the initial rezone was drawn out, and because of the facilities that are needed here, it requested to be encompassed a little more of the facilities. Some of them went across the line of the rezone, and thus brought before the board here the rezone of this particular property here that we're talking about. It consists of 89.97 acres. I have, just for it on itself, I've outlined the map for everyone so they can see what it actually looks like. It's a bow-fangled kind of area that is done by I will say, the contour of the land and what the land is currently being utilized for. What is besides, there are, as you can see on your maps there are a couple of the facilities that go across the line, which is the initial need. And then you can look and you can see that there is a layout there of parking spots. And I will tell you, because of the, can I say, the large construction project that's going to go on, that there's going to be projected between 1,610 and 1,666 parking spots for all the construction workers to come in. And in addition, it's laid out to have 210 spots for the staff members. And that's what's laid out there in your big map. In addition, on the, I will call it the south end of the facility here, what we have laid out is 3 portable facilities where they can store equipment for. Because of the, I will say, the scope of the construction that is going to be necessary here, they decided to supplement that and put that on. And obviously, the request for rezone here is doing nothing more than to assist in the generation ultimately of what is going on in the parcel that's previously been rezoned I2. Trying to make this as simple as possible. Then we go to the second request, which is to rezone the property that adjoins that property, and that's what I will describe here as the red area that I have been around. And that property is obviously closer to the river here. In addition, the land to request that is 57.62 acres. That will be just the rest and remainder of the land. And the request to rezone that is from ag to conservation. Frankly, what this parcel of real estate is going to be utilized for, because of the scope of the construction project, they're going to need some soil. And they have sand up there in the Wheatfield area. And they will dredge some of the sand out of here, take the topsoil and move it over to the side, replace the topsoil back on it once the dredging or what is necessary to be brought to site versus bringing it, hauling it in, since it is necessary. Then their idea is to convert this into a conservation area to be used for wildlife and the conservation plan. There's no projections to be utilized in any other way once the construction is done for the actual generation facility at all. Putting it into conservation, as you're probably aware, reduces the maintenance cost on it because of the nature of growing up and utilizing it for wildlife. And I think maybe the larger point that we hear, as you know, 5-6 years ago when NIPSCO came here and told us they were going to shut down the plant, made Jasper County scramble. It made a scramble to try to find and replace $5 to $7 million of income for Jasper County, which we just desperately needed. And you know, that was one of the major pushes to allow the windmills to come in here under the restrictions that we've placed on them. It was an area that we used to put all the solar panels on to be able to generate more income for our counties. And we also looked at every different way to try to replace that. Well, they sort of solved our problem. They have just a different way of generating power, and that's going to be all done in our county. And as you can expect, I don't know the cost of the project, but I could tell you the cost of this project is going to generate income for Jasper County, which is what we lost 5 and 6 years ago when we scrambled all over the place. And then frankly, today, we're still scrambling to try to replace that if it would all go away. And this is the project that does it. You've previously approved the I2 to start the project. I've explained why we need the additional acres to do it, to expand that over and to have an area so our construction workers can come right to the site and not have to be hauled in. And what we will do to do some storage and how we will utilize the rest of the remainder of the property that was purchased to utilize it for the filling of the sand that is necessary to build the facility, and then utilizing it for construction product. And simply stated, that's what we're doing. And I know every time that NIPSCO is placed on a zoning matter, they come in and for some reason over the past couple months, you know, the old word data center was coming in, which is controversial throughout the United States. This is not that. We don't have that. That's not projected. That's not going to be built. And that should alleviate some of the concerns. And this is just an expansion of what was already done. So if any of the board members has any questions, I'll attempt to address all those questions you may have.
Any questions from the Plan Commission at this time for the applicant while he's forward here? Did you have anything, Lana? Question at this time?
Thank you.
I hear you. Anything at this time? Guys, good with open up to public, or you need some more time? That's fine. Guys, good with going on to public comment? Okay. Yeah, if you'd have a seat, sir. Okay, we will open up to public comment again on this particular cause, PC-14-26. Again, if you've been here, make sure you sign the sheet before you come forward. We can keep track, and then state your name and address. Every person will have 5 minutes if needed. And the applicant, if you would take down questions, or you'll have 5 minutes to rebut per our rules. If there's someone on the plan commission has a specific question that is asked, or a comment that you would like, please just ask me and we'll address it at that time. Otherwise, any questions, we'll expect the applicant to answer those as they see fit. So go ahead, ma'am.
Barb Deerdorf, 5298 East, 1350 North, Sampier in Kankakee Township. I want to commend all of you for your vote back in December when NIPSCO was here last. It was a long night with lots of testimony, and you made a brave decision, the right decision. Now NIPSCO is back and wants more land zoned from agricultural to industrial. And I'm back again asking you to again make an unfavorable recommendation. My family has lived in Kankakee Township for 110 years and 6 generations. There are currently 8 Deerdorf households in Kankakee Township. We were here before NIPSCO, but I'm not certain that the next generations of Deerdorfs will want to outlast NIPSCO. According to the Times of Northwest Indiana, NIPSCO has polluted groundwater in Kankakee Township. Some mornings there is a yellow streak across the sky originating from their smokestacks. And importantly, tonight, they are attempting to further industrialize Kankakee Township. Why would the next generations want to come back to this township and this county after NIPSCO has been allowed unmitigated expansion? Of course, NIPSCO has the right to buy whatever property they wish, but they must go through you to have it rezoned from agricultural to industrial. It is the rezoning process that is the line of defense against the industrialization of Kankakee Township. Currently, NIPSCO owns 3,339 acres in our township and leases another 3,100 acres of solar in our township. That means NIPSCO is currently controlling just shy of 39% of Kankakee Township, which is alarming. How much land do we need in Kankakee Township producing electricity? Have we not hit our limit? Isn't 39% control of our township more than enough? I think I also heard you say that we're a leading agricultural county, not a leading electrical producing county. Kankakee Township has been doing its part in funding our county. We have the second highest assessed valuation of all the townships and the highest AV per square mile. We have been doing more than our fair share to help fund this county. This can't just be about money. The county's comprehensive plan calls for protection of prime farmland. On the state soil maps website, this entire parcel, both portions they're asking you to rezone tonight, are classified as, quote, prime farmland if drained and either protected from flooding or not frequently flooded during the growing season. I will leave a copy of this map with you, but I want to reiterate the state classifies this as prime farmland. Additionally, in the county's comprehensive plan, the future land use map shows this parcel in traditional agriculture, not industrial. I ask you to keep it that way. I ask you tonight to vote against the further industrialization of Kankakee Township, of which NIPSCO already controls 39%. Vote against turning more prime farmland into industry, and vote to uphold the comprehensive plan by protecting prime farmland. Let's make this a place our kids will want to come back to.
Thank you. Please hold any applause or any outbursts, okay, so we can keep things moving here. Give everybody and the respect that they deserve for and against. Go ahead, ma'am. Name and address,
Yes,
please.
good evening. My name is Karen Burton. I live at 3419 Rachel Lane in Wheatfield, Indiana. This past February, this plan commission made an unfavorable recommendation on the rezoning of a plot neighboring the one we're discussing tonight. Despite this, our county commissioners approved the plan anyway. The people of this county and others like it nationwide are beholden to a chain of accountability that includes local zoning boards, county commissioners, state legislators, governors, federal officials, and regulatory bodies, and the special interest groups who invest in election campaigns of those I just mentioned. We are led to believe, when we are taught in the civics at a young age, that this system will ultimately reflect the will of the people of this county and others like it nationwide. But that isn't what's happening. It's no secret that data centers and supporting facilities like the one proposed at this board are being approved and constructed despite people showing up en masse to oppose them. I, for one, don't think that's very democratic. Any discussion of improved funding or other public benefits is irrelevant. To move forward in any way is to say, you know what's right for us better than we do. The chain of accountability we have put our faith in has been broken. Let me be clear. I imagine you guys may or may not approve this proposal, but then it's going to go to the commissioners and they're going to do what they're going to do. But I'm not here to stop a data center from being built. I'm here with my remaining time to say that I intend to learn from this failure of the democratic process. I intend to educate those within my circle of systemic flaws that led to this mess. And I encourage everyone to do the same. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please. Who's next?
I signed up to speak to this. I spoke a little while
Go ahead,
ago.
name and address, just in case somebody has come in.
Mary Ann Malin, 9246 Aspen Court, and that's in DeMott. I'm shocked. First of all, they're trying to increase, they're coming here to increase generation when there is a peaker unit that's already been approved. Is this part of the peaker unit?
They'll address that in their read.
Okay, so this is about, because we have the coal power plants that need to be maintained. And now they want to bring in gas generation when the coal power plants need to be maintained. So they want to have new investment instead of taking care of old investment. There seems to be a lot of rewarding of new investment rather than taking care of older infrastructure. And we do need to take care of older infrastructure on a nationwide level. And so I would suggest that you not approve this until they have come up with plans to take care of what they already have, and bring it up to speed and better maintain it before you give them something new to destroy. So, also with the whole, by the way, thank you very much for advising no on the data center plan. And I will speak more to this tomorrow at the council meeting, but that was approved by the commissioners based upon the argument that the state is going to pass something anyway to make it so that anybody can, just build a data center on farmland. And Kendall Culp wrote authored and sponsored HB 1333, which would have made that possible. That would have been realistic, except there was so much complaint against that bill that it basically got shouted down. It got shut down. Not only did it not get passed, he had to remove that language from the bill for it to even be considered, and it was not passed. So it's not popular for the state to try to override the counties. And what they were trying to do is more than just this HB 1333 to try to gut the county's power and the will of the people for the elected positions. They were trying to make everything, you'd have like one kind of like county governor, so to speak, and then they would just bring in their own team, like what Holcomb did with the auditor at the state level is now a comptroller. And there's a huge difference between an auditor and a comptroller. Comptroller just rubber stamps. Auditor questions and challenges. And what we need more is more audit and less rubber stamping. Thank you.
Thank you. Who's next? Yep, come on forward, sir. And again, feel free to sign the sheet while the person in front of you is speaking to save time. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, sir. And I apologize, I'm going to be shouting, but not at you but for the people in the back.
Name and address.
Yes, sir. But first I wanted to apologize for shouting because I know from experience that you can't hear in the back of the room. My name is Ashley Hammock and my address is 9951 South Evans Road, Brookston, Indiana. And full disclosure, I am a candidate for Indiana House District 16. So that's the purpose for me butting my nose in where it doesn't belong. I am also, my aim is to be a true representative of the people. Therefore, I'm going to go ahead and get an early start on that. Okay. One thing I'm going to ask a series of questions. I'm not looking for answers. Actually, I'm looking for the audience to kind of do some homework. So one thing I didn't hear was, what's the purpose of this project? Where is this energy going to flow to? And what are the impacts of this project? We heard a lot about conservation, but I don't think it's a conservation project. It's an energy project, but we didn't hear really anything about the normal things that you hear about energy projects, like, pollution, and how much power, what's the demand? What kind of demand do we have in this area? So my question is, how much power is this place going to produce? And then second question is, how much PM particulate matter 2.5, which is the smallest size of particulate matter that's produced from these combustion sites, how much is that going to produce that causes lung damage to folks in the area? How much NOx, NOx, NO and NO2, nitrogen oxides is going to be produced? How much CO2? These are all cause health impacts. So how much is this project going to produce in relation to the power that's already being produced for a city like Rensselaer? Okay. What is the predicted epidemiological modeling of those health impacts? So what's the health effect going to be on the community that comes from this project? That's going to cost money. That's going to cost all these folks in this room money. And then what is NIPSCO's financial contribution to mitigate those health impacts? Have they offered up any type of, health improvement for these inevitable health impacts that would come from the project? And then what's their projected revenue growth from this project? They're owned by a publicly traded company, and they have a 13-point-something% profit margin. They make a lot of money. What is their expected revenue growth coming from this project? This meeting doesn't cover what we all kind of think the purpose of this project is, which is for an AI data center, because that's the draw for all the energy. And so we just talked about water from a little hog barn and the water impacts that might come from a little hog barn. And this is going to have a much bigger impact on the water. Indiana is the most water at risk state, according to the Water Resources Institute. Indiana is the most water at risk state this side of the Mississippi in this country. We don't have the water. We don't have it. You got to choose. You can't have everything. Okay. And so 4 or 5 members, I'm going to echo what the gentlelady said a minute ago. 4 or 5 members of this commission just said we are an agricultural county. So you can't be an agricultural county and be a AI data center county too. You can't have your cake and eat it too. So you got to choose one. Thank you.
Thank you. Who's next? Yep. You already signed the sheet.
Hi.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Kristen Vincenzo. I live at, is it hard to hear me?
You're good.
I live at 423 East Hilltop Court, Lowell, Indiana. Came a little bit of ways. I felt like it was important. I want to speak on the gentleman that just spoke before me. He was asking about the pollution that this could be producing. And I have some of those stats, so I'd like to share them with you today. According to IDEM, the CCG plant would emit more than 7 million tons of CO2 per year. It's just one little fact from that. The gas plant expansion could more than double the pollution from NIPSCO's current coal plants, positioning it as the 3rd worst carbon polluter in the state. This gas plant would draw approximately 23 million gallons of water per day from the Kankakee River and groundwater sources. Of that, 16 million gallons per day would be evaporated in cooling towers and never returned to the river. Roughly equivalent to 160,000 households per day of water, just gone. If built, the gas turbines would operate for approximately 30 years, meaning a 3-decade lock-in of fossil fuel infrastructure at a site that is still cleaning up its last 50 years of operations. My question is, what will Jasper County look like in 2060, and who will still be here to absorb the consequences? I hope that each and every one of you carefully consider what we're asking. The Kankakee River water system is nothing to be messed with. I know I'm fighting it up in Lowell. They're talking about building things over that right now, and there's something really wrong with that. I think that there's not enough water, but there's certainly enough data centers and power plants to kill us all. So I would really hope that everyone would take the time and examine all of these stats that we're bringing up to attention today. Thank you.
Thank you. Who's next? Yep.
Hello. My name's Lottie Stein. I live at 606 Azalea Street Southeast. I live in DeMott. Wheatfield is my neighbor. Kiefer is my neighbor. Lowell's my neighbor. And the Kankakee River is my neighbor. I want to reiterate what you said. We are an animal county, ag county. We are a wildlife county. We raise animals. We raise corn. We have water. Water is precious, and you know that. You've heard that more than enough times. I don't know if you live in town, if you have water that comes from a well, or whether you have water that comes from a processing plant. But this is not the place in Jasper County to let NIPSCO come in and take care of what they want to take care of. NIPSCO has enough issues under their belt as it is right now. I don't think my opinion is don't let them get away with this. Because even though I think it was said 112 parking spaces for just the workers and construction, what's going to happen after it's construction? What's going to be put on that property then? After the construction workers are gone and it's pavement. We need to live in harmony with each other. And I am so proud of the women on this board who know what they're doing, who are able to answer questions. Thank you, Mary. And for the others that have stood up behind me. We are learning as we go. It's no secret that it's been said it's going to happen anyway, no matter what you say, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. You know, towns have been approached, people have been approached, hey, we'll get you an ambulance, we'll get you fire trucks. You know, everything's non-disclosure, everything's under the floor, under the table, however you want to call it. But you're here to protect us and to be a witness for us. And we need our water. We need our farmland. We need our animals. And those that have been here for many years, I myself have been here for 30. I don't like the way that Jasper County is going. The northern half that you want to just get rid of and just give it all. I mean, we've seen what happened to the solar farm with the hail damage. You need to protect us. You need to protect our water. It's the main thing that we survive on and that we need it. As far as NIPSCO wanting to come in and go to the river and make it a conservative place and dig up sand and soil and replace it with what? I don't know. I don't want it to be contaminated. We've gone down the river, we've canoed, we've traveled, we've seen fish. Oh, my heart. It really hurts my heart. And to see you up here and trying to decide what to do, or maybe not trying to decide what to do, because you know. Mr. Hammock, who was up here, and he was asking questions about the energy and the pollution and points and all that. Does NIPSCO really know, or do they just look on their computers as we go and ask questions and look it up now? So when they do come up here and talk, that they'll have these answers for you. I'm proud to be a part of Jasper County. I hope you are too. And I hope you'll be as proud of protecting your citizens in Wheatfield and allowing them to have a place to live safely, to drink safe water, just like you would probably have safe. We don't want to get our water from a plastic bottle. We know what that condition is already about plastics. We don't want our water busted. We want to be able to turn our faucet on. We want to see it clear. We want to see it tasteful. I hope you vote no to this issue, to stop this in its tracks before it gets too out of control. Not just for ourselves, but for our children and for you and for your children. Because if you've been here long enough and lived here long enough, your concerns would have to be for your family also and for your family to come. Thank you for hearing my story.
Thank you. Next.
Courtney Ruiz, 11691 North, 1200 West Demont. I'm not a public speaker, so I'm going to try to get through this without being too shaky, but I apologize. I wanted to also preface from your own words is that this is an agricultural county, and that's what we all love, and that's the reason we came here. I just moved here a year and a half ago. I'm a veteran. I'm originally from Michigan. I've lived in Maryland, North Dakota, other places, and I've been exposed to a whole lot of landscapes and seen what industrialization can do. We can go north to Chicago and see that as well. Since living here in Indiana, I have fallen in love with the Kankakee River. It still supports wildlife, hunting, fishing, kayaking, bird migration, and so many other outdoor activities. But while researching the Kankakee, I found that it is literally just a fraction of what it used to be. It used to be called the Everglades of the North. There's a PBS documentary that I hope that all of you guys have seen, to what it used to be. And today we're down to, some will say 10% of what it used to be. Some will say even down to 1% of what it used to be. The river and the marsh is a regional treasure, but it used to be a national treasure. For it to be called the Everglades of the North, that compares it to Florida and the Everglades down there. That is something that is so important to wildlife, birds, people, sustaining of life, water. We can learn from the history, and we can also choose to not repeat it. The Calumet rivers just north are an example of what we're headed towards if we continue down this path. No one wants that, but currently, not only are we talking about developing here in Wheatfield, but if you go 13 miles down the river, they're also talking about a data center, battery storage facilities, solar fields in Hebron. We're also fighting against that as well. It's important that we not have tunnel vision and understand that the collective development will lead us towards a river that no longer supports the activities that we all love and that we all live here for. Please do not have, please just realize that the industrialization does not belong on the banks of any river, especially a river that is so important to the region. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
I'm Tony Fosco, 11155 Briar Hill Drive. And I'm just going to talk about NIPSCO. They locked out 1,600 workers in northern Indiana alone, and they're trying to expand now. Do we know what their profit was for last year? $930 million. If you think they care about your community and they don't care about their workers, you're lying to yourself. What else do I got here? April 2nd, 1,600 workers locked out. That's your family, your friends, the people in your town without jobs right now because they didn't want to sign the contract for the workers that dedicate their lives to that company. And now the company's trying to come in, pollute the water, take over the city. These people don't care about you. They don't care about your town. They care about the profits. Ask any of the workers that got locked out. They had to turn in their badges, their keys. They don't have jobs right now. And NIPSCO is trying to expand. That's all that I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Next. Yep. Name and I think believe address on there as well. Go ahead and then state your name and address for the audience.
Laura Mendenhall. I'm at 5248 West 1150 North in Wheatfield. And thank you for listening to me today. I really didn't plan on speaking, but and this written issue is relatively new to me. I haven't been to the other meetings, so I'm just relatively new to the issue altogether. But I have great concern for the gas peaker units going in at Schaefer Station and then the potential data centers. A little bit about me. I have severe asthma. Used to live further north in Northwest Indiana. My husband and I moved south for cleaner air. So for me personally, it's very much a health issue. I know that currently the coal energy generation at Schaefer Station puts out, a certain amount of pollutants and emissions each year. But it seems as though with its new 6 peaker gas units that are to be installed, that the emissions will increase 4-fold. So for me personally, that's a huge health issue. On top of that, I have a lot of concerns about the data centers that are going in and water usage. And I know Courtney had talked about also, we attended the meeting in Lowell High School because there are several data centers going in kind of in a trajectory along the Kankakee River and aquifer. We hear a lot that we're on a national level, that we're in competition with China and Russia for data centers, that there's kind of a race between countries to kind of be at the forefront of that. Currently, the United States has 5,427 data centers. China's at 449 and Russia's at 251. So those are the current statistics. Courtney also spoke about Everglades of the North, the film, and I also have a very long history personally, my heritage with the Kankakee River. My maiden name is Gifford, and at the turn of the century, the late 1800s, a railroad was put through, the Grand Kankakee Marsh was drained for farmland, which is important. You have to have good balance between ecosystems and farmlands. You know, I understand that. We have a country to feed, we have families to take care of. At the same time, if you watch the film Everglades of the North, one of the dredge boats in that film belonged to my ancestors. They were instrumental in helping drain the Grand Kankakee Marsh. That's on my father's side, on my grandfather's side. On my dad's mother's side, she was a huge environmental advocate and had Native American ancestry, very much believed in healthy ecosystems and respecting the planet. I myself, in her honor, have been very involved in marsh restoration along the Grand Kankakee, seeking to restore the Grand Kankakee Marsh in a balance with farms and some, you know, industry, but also respecting the earth and respecting that watershed. I think a lot of us here have been very concerned about water usage, about, you know, air pollution, noise pollution, light pollution. And I think a lot of us, in retrospect, years down the road, I think a lot of us in this room tonight will be the canaries in the coal mine, or I should say the canaries in the maybe gas peaker unit, that we need to be very, very cautious about what we're doing, whether that requires a moratorium or thinking this over more carefully, so that we're not taking something that's very valuable and having it disappear forever. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Hello, Brett Malin, BRETT MAHLEN, 9246 Aspen Court in DeMott. I want to speak against anything having to do with data centers, of course. It may be that you've already decided. I know that a lot of times these decisions have been made beforehand. I do want to encourage you to go against what you planned if that has already been decided beforehand. My encouragement to you is that a lot of times people who make decisions for people in a county, deliberative bodies like yourselves, a lot of times they make decisions, and then after those decisions have been made, the consequences have already happened. And when that happens, the people come and we say, listen, we have electrical bills that have been raised. Our water is polluted. We used to get well water. Now we don't. We're dealing with all this sickness and all these things. And at the end of the day, those who have made the decision, they just say, well, sorry, it's too late. It's already happened. We've already decided. Or this is a couple years down the road. My encouragement to you is in any way, shape, or form to oppose anything that is data center related. I do believe that our taxes will go up, our electrical bills will go up, our environment will be destroyed, and we will lose the precious resources. I think if we were to go to, say, Newton County, if you were to say, listen, we have decided that we are going to gift you, Newton County, with a free data center. It's all yours. I think they would look at you and say, what, are you crazy? We don't want that. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants it in any place or any county. And the people who speak to the consequences of it, they talk about the damage, they talk about the hurt, they talk about the disease, they talk about the consequences, the constant buzzing, all of the environmental concerns. So my encouragement is to you, for you now, but also anything in the future having to do with data centers, to vote that down and continue to stimulate the agricultural economy.
Thank you. Anyone else? You signed the sheet, sir?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead. Name and
Been
address,
here,
please.
done that. The highest law,
Can you give your name and
Terry
address?
Wilson, 3474 East, 500 North, Wheatfield.
Okay, go ahead.
The highest law of land in the is the United States Constitution, which begins with 3 words, we the people. Constitution of the State of Indiana, first full sentence begins with those exact same 3 words. Amazing, right? Back in December 15th, 2025, this group, after hearing we the people's voice, voted unanimously, minus 1 abstention, to not recommend the rezoning for NIPSCO. February 2nd, 2026, a couple months later, the 3 commissioners voted unanimously to reject your recommendation. How do you feel that they didn't even care about your opinion? Because we know how you feel, because you were representing us at that point in time. Therefore, I recommend for you tonight, instead of voting yay or nay, vote to table this rezoning for 1 year. Because that would give you time to get the results from the $55,000 water study that we're having done. Results will not be until July, my understanding. It would also allow the IDEM air permits, which have been filed, but nothing has been returned, to be verified. It would allow the other environmental studies that are being taken place by not the government, but by groups and individuals to get those results back. Then you can look at them, take the time, look at the results, then make an educated decision. Look at what the 3 commissioners signed back in February 2nd, 2026. After they signed it, they made 9 amendments to it, right? And each of those amendments, or almost all the amendments, had a word in it, reasonably. And so one of them said that NIPSCO should have their act together in 90 days. NIPSCO said, that's not reasonable. So the 3 commissioners said, well, let's double it. Let's kick it down the road to July. Another one of those amendments said, the law states that the highest building in Jasper County can be 60 feet. NIPSCO came back, said, that's not reasonable. Let's make it 75. And they said, okay. So what good is it for us to have any kind of meeting like this if the 3 commissioners are going to do whatever they want? The commissioners kept claiming at the other meetings, and I've been to almost all of them, that they had their hands tied. If they didn't act, the state was going to force them. So I thought, well, I'll call down the state and see what the state says. I talked to Second Command, Lieutenant Governor Michael Beckwith, and he assured me that Governor Braun is not forcing anybody to have this kind of thing come into their county. In fact, I made a meeting, which is going to happen May 1st, for Lieutenant Beckwith, the Governor Beckwith, to come down to Wheatfield. And I asked Commissioner Hilton to invite the other 2 commissioners and this board because I can't contact you. And that was 5 weeks ago. And I haven't heard. I only heard Commissioner Hilton said he's going to be planted. If you want to hear straight from the horse's mouth, the second in command of the state, let me know tonight after the meeting, because I have to put your names on a list because for security reasons, if you're available May 1st. The other thing that bothers me is the groups that are for this are mostly unions. And the fact is, in 2025, only 8.3% of the Hoosier workforce is unions. So what about the 92 other percent of us, right? We need to be heard as well. When you mentioned about a parking lot with 1,600 vehicles, I was trying to think in my mind, Rensselaer, Walmart, what is that? Maybe 200-300 parking spaces in Walmart? So you're talking 5 to 6 times the size of that parking lot? coming in every day in the wheat field? How are you going to do that? There's a good book that I like to read. And it says anything done in secret is
Sir,
evil.
Time's
And
up.
I hope you read that book as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Please. Please. Still have public comment time here, so anyone else wish to speak on this before we close it? Going once, twice. Okay, we will close public comment again on this particular cause and bring it to the applicant for a rebuttal, 5 minutes.
Well, simply stated, this isn't a data center, as we've heard the complaints. And this is not an expansion of what's already been approved. This is just a request for some additional land to be rezoned. And that land utilized in the assistance of the building of the project and then the continued use of the project. Board has any questions for me, I'm surely answer the same.
Anyone have any questions for the applicant at this time?
I have a couple.
Go ahead, Jake.
So, first I want to just kind of circle back to the water piece. So we heard some things back in December and there was some more comments at the February Commissioner meeting that. So, but now I'm hearing that there is some revitalization efforts happening in the existing coal facility. So early on, it was stated that the coal and this potential CCGT plant would not operate simultaneously, which would keep the water use kind of below its historical high water line. And guess I'm just looking with the additional information of the revitalization of some of that coal unit, if that has changed.
I do not know that, to be honest with you.
Does anybody with your support team know that?
With some of that.
Okay.
If you'd, sir, if you'd state your name and address as well.
Yeah, you got it. Rob Ridge, work for Nice Sources, Generation Construction Group, work address 3001 Leonard Drive in Valparaiso. So related to our coal-fired operations, and there were some questions related to our coal-fired operations and our overall plan for the plant. You may be familiar that every 3 years, electric utilities in Indiana actually need to do an integrated resource plan, and that then forecasts how we serve our customers long-term, including what we plan to do with our coal-fired generation, and that plan did have retirement to those facilities. NIPSCO did receive a 202C order that required NIPSCO to continue operation of 2 of its coal-fired units at Schaefer Generating Station. So that was initially a 90-day extension, and then another, as I understand it, 90-day extension was recently provided. So yes, the previous plan was to retire those units, and actually at the end of 2025 is when those were planned to be retired, but it's unknown how long or if any other 202C orders would be issued.
So how many gallons a day are those 2 coal units using when they're operational?
It's about 25 million gallons per day.
For the 2 units?
For the 2 coal-fired units? That's the withdrawal, and then there is, because it's primarily for cooling water, so then a lot of it is returned back to the river.
Okay. The other 2 coal units are staying offline, or
they are fully retired? Yes.
All right. Second question is really, I've driven around this site. NIPSCO's put a lot of money in this site already and done a lot of work. So there must be a plan B if this rezone doesn't happen. So what was that? Well, what does that look like? Because you cleared all the trees, done some drainage work, there's gravel, parking lots. So You must have had a plan to do it without this piece since you just got this piece bought, here in April.
Well, do you mean because there's already rezoned I-2. Okay, so they can construct the plan on that. What they did was just relocate a couple of the facilities that crossed the line. Okay.
Looks like
In
quite a few.
theory, if you're saying, do they have a plan? Probably not, but logic tells you what? They just move them back under and build it anyway. Okay? They own the 2 parcels that we're asking to be rezoned. So they're still gonna own them. Okay? I guess they're gonna have to figure out how a place for the workers to come in and drive and park and transport them to and from.
And if I may, I'll add for those that can't see the drawing, really what's included on this new parcel, as far as actual equipment that supports plant operations, is primarily limited to the cooling towers that helps cool the power equipment off to the west. Outside of that, we currently see in this drawing, it's primarily facilities to support construction, so craft parking, temporary warehouses, things of that nature.
So the generation plant design itself has not really changed from the initial version?
Primarily, it has not changed. It's really, we've just refined the design of the facility that showed the additional use of land.
Oh, right now.
Good. Anyone else on the plan commission have any questions for the applicant? Anyone?
I think that's my problem too, Jake, is construction appears to already be well underway.
It just it bothers me that for the second time since October, NIPSCO's starting a project before they have all their zoning in place. I don't know why it's that hard to figure out.
If I may, I mean, our construction activities have
Please.
Our construction activities have been limited to the tree clearing activities and very minor civil earthwork. I mean, we have not installed any permanent facilities or anything like that at this location. And if I'm thinking it through, yeah, I mean, it's just tree clearing activities that have started on this parcel.
That's fair.
And as far as concrete being poured, that's all limited to the peaker side. Sure. As far as concrete and any kind of existing structure, that's all been limited to the peaker unit side on the south side of the road.
That's fair. That's fair. Perfect.
Anyone else got a question from the commission here to the applicant? I guess just so it's clear, the generating plan has already been approved. This really has nothing to do with generating. It's just
the adjacent parcel of real estate. That's about 89 acres being approved.
We could argue all day long, but the generating plan is already approved.
That's correct.
What else?
So it's a parking lot and storage. I mean, when it comes down to it,
And cooling towers.
this. Cooling towers.
Did you hear what she said?
I mean,
No.
sorry, the very bottom line is this whole parcel, the projection that you have in place to plan is a parking lot and some storage facilities and some offices.
Yeah, so called out in the drawing.
I mean, honestly, what it is, that's the bottom line, because everything else is on the other side.
Exactly.
Correct. Construction laydown and things like that, I'll call that in the drawing. But yes, if you look off to the west in the area that's already zoned I-2, that's where the true meat of the power plant equipment is located. So the combustion turbines, the steam turbines.
Is already on the other side.
Equipment is.
I just wanted that clarification because I think that there was a lot of misunderstanding here tonight, that everybody thinks that this is an approval for a whole different reason. On our plans, it's a parking lot, 3 storage units, bathrooms with the little office.
Correct.
Okay, I just wanted that to be clear because a lot of people came up and spoke, thought this was a whole different.
It's not a new individual
Project.
project outside of
Yes.
what's discussed. That is
Thank
correct.
you.
Point, Lana. Any other plan commission members?
Will this parking lot, the big parking lot, will that stay post-construction?
You took the words out of my mouth on that one.
What, I'm sorry, what was that? I just was curious if the big parking lot will stay post-construction or if something else will happen there.
Do you know?
Yes, it's currently anticipated that would stay permanent.
Now that parking is just for construction workers that are working on the generator. Is that what you're telling me?
That parking area is to support construction of the entire facility. Does that answer your question?
The CCGT?
Yes.
Please, ma'am, we're following our procedures, okay? So the applicant is up here at this time and the board can ask them questions. Any other questions?
On the conservation side, is there gonna be an access point? If it looks like there's a horseshoe that runs around there, you're gonna cut through the bank and flood that essentially when you're done with the borrow pit, and fill it with water?
Yes, so, well, let me answer your question. So the area that we have as conservation, yes, the plan is to strip off the topsoil, take that clean fill material. That's what we use to build up the project site. With that, we plan to backfill some of the topsoil into that. It'll promote vegetation growth and things like that. Now, I think your question was, will we provide public access to that?
Correct.
That honestly, we haven't gone through if we would or wouldn't. So I'd say it's a possibility, but it's not something that was planned.
What are you anticipating the overall depth of that being upon completion?
Still being designed. Honestly, it's what we could economically take out of it, with groundwater table and things like that. It's really how much you can extract out of it. So a little bit to be determined.
Anyone else? I'll ask the same question as I did. This is more for Mary Todd. So this is the plan commission. Obviously, the commissioners get anything from us regardless what we do. What is the next steps on this particular one? Would there be other county entities based on what is going to be on this site?
Based on what's going to be on the site?
Or
If
any,
it get, I mean, well. So this rezone goes to the commissioners, like you said, and then there's still drainage board approval pending. Even review. I don't know that it's been reviewed. Vince could speak to that. I cannot.
They just purchased property.
So there is drainage board.
nothing BZA or anything because
No.
of what it's because of what's going to be on there. It's-
Correct.
Okay. All right. Anyone else? Question? Comments while the applicant is present here or forward? Okay, why don't you have a seat? So, and again, we can ask questions if needed. What's everybody thinking?
Great, what Lana said. The bigger plant, all of that is already approved. It's already happening. It's going to happen. This is ground that they purchased basically to use as parking facilities and to manage people in construction instead of cramming it into another area. Am I correct in that assumption?
That's what I heard.
That's the way we heard it.
What else?
Mr. President, I will make a motion to approve the rezone.
It's been moved to approve the motion of the rezone by Ryan. Do we have a second? Once, twice? No second.
Motion could die for lack of a second.
That motion dies for lack of a second. So please. So. What else would be?
You need to make some recommendation.
I'd make a motion to
Unfavorable, favorable, or no recommendation.
Was that Dave?
I'd move for an unfavorable recommendation.
Been moved by Dave for an unfavorable recommendation and seconded by Scott. All those in favor of sending an unfavorable recommendation for the rezone to the commissioners, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
What did you say? Say that again.
One more time.
All those in favor of sending an unfavorable recommendation to the commissioners, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Nay. Okay, so that goes as a,
Do we need to show hands for that, or did you get it?
I think there was three.
Hands.
It's
Okay.
unfavorable. We are.
We'll go back. Okay, so those that were voting for the unfavorable recommendation, raise your right hand. And then nays. So 6-3. Okay, so that one will go to the commissioners on May 4th with an unfavorable recommendation. Okay, that's our final cause for the evening. Next meeting, Mary, you said it in the BZA, May 18th.
Correct.
What time?
7 p.m.
I don't think this is.
Same place?
Here's my thing.
Same place.
Here's my thing.
Anybody else have anything while we're together here? Mike, did you have anything from the city side? Okay. Entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, meeting is adjourned.
I know it's serious law. Yeah.
I've been landlord.
You're fine. Yes. Yep.